So because after COVID, if we see, everyone is having few problems, like people lost their jobs and all this stuff. So we today are here to talk about career and how it can be, how you can make a sustainable career, how you can approach towards your career. There are many problems that I've seen that students are having. They're not sure about the career. They see that this career option is paying you more, so we should go to this career option rather than our interest, seeing our interests. So this is also not right way. So today, me and ma'am will be discussing how to choose a career and how we should be focusing on the sustainable career. And even at the time of problems, what we should be doing so that our career remains intact, our job remains intact, and there's no problem in the livelihood.
Yeah, I hope you can hear me. So we know that, in the ever-evolving digital world, our brain's ability to concentrate on a central task has become increasingly more difficult to do, isn't it? So in today's time, it's become, something really important, really crucial to actually stay in a job for a long period of time. As somebody, sir and I, out of experience, we are saying how important it is to have sustainability in career. Right. So it's very important to actually have sustainability in career. I'll give you an example. Like we have students of, like we are teaching management students here, and some of the students, they are, for after their placements, what do? Is they are there in a job, right? And after that, they plan to switch, for packages, or, they hear those very high packages and they're like, they want to switch to another job. Just after 4 to 5 months, they change their mind, right? And they start looking for other jobs, right? Now, what if they get a new job and the package is also decent? But here, what they're doing is something which is not good, because here, in the previous job, they just had a work experience of 4 months, let's say, for example, which is not, good for your curriculum vitae as well. Now, if you are somebody who has good amount of work experience of 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, I think that would increase your chances of being hired at, decent organizations. So people have to understand, the students have to understand here that sustainability in career is very important. They have to develop themselves in such ways, right? They have to adapt to the organizational environment rather than, rather than switching jobs multiple times, like 1 month ho gaya, I need to switch my job. Okay, fine. I have spent 2 months in this company and I'm not, I'm not happy. I'm not satisfied. And, you decide to switch your job. It's not a good idea to do so. Uh, you have to develop yourself in such a way that you can stay in one organization for a prolonged period of time, so that in future you have other horizons, other doors open for you, that okay, fine, this person has been so we can hire this person, right? So like you all know that, kind of, repercussions it brought our way, right? So many people lost their jobs, isn't it? So it's very important to understand here, that such situations may arise anytime, right? We have to be, kind of adaptive. We have to make ourselves, कि हमें उस कुकून में नहीं रहना है कि आपको अगर जॉब में, थोड़ा सा आपको लगा कि कहीं पे कोई ऐसी बात हो गई जिस वजह से आप ये सोच रहे हो कि हमें अब जॉब छोड़ देनी चाहिए. छोटी छोटी बातों में अगर आप, if you get agitated, right? If you're somebody, जैसे आप कॉलेजेस में होते हो, right? कॉलेजेस में क्या होता है, you live a very good life, right? You enjoy your college days as well as you enjoy studying in college. You are in your own cocoon when you are in your college days, right? तो वही cocoon और वो एक pampered shell में आप अपनी जॉब में नहीं रहने वाले हो. ये चीज अपने दिमाग से हटा लो कि आप जॉब में आओगे तो आपको वही कॉलेज लाइफ, यू गेट अ कॉलेज लाइफ, when you're working in a job, just take these things out of your mind, because your job is something which is going to pay you. You're not working there for free. You are an asset to that organization. You are a human resource through which an organization is going to benefit. So you have to keep these things in mind. If they're paying you, you have to fulfill the criteria. You have to, fulfill their demand, because you're ultimately being paid for it, right? So you cannot expect, those petty issues, I mean to say, should not bother you, should not force you to leave a particular job, right? Just because you had a quarrel with somebody, you had a fight with somebody. So that should not, hamper your peace of mind. That should not lead you to leave your job and spoil and ruin your career, right? So if it's about your career, you have to be very, I mean, you have to be mature enough to understand the significance of having a good career. And especially in times when, we are amidst the pandemic, still, we are seeing a surge in corona cases. You never know what happens next in future, right? So we have to be very, very, career plays a very pivotal role in shaping you, in shaping your future. Right. So you have to understand the future perspective, how career is shaping your future, right? How pivotal it is, how significant, how crucial it is. Only when you understand the importance of career, only then will you know how to sustain in a particular stream, in a particular field. Okay, so you please have to first understand how important it is to have a good, the importance of career first.
Yes, so to continue, as ma'am said, that you first need to spend some time. So that's a very good thing. You need to actually spend some time, because I want to tell this thing to the freshers. Mostly what happens is, when you come out of the college, you have enjoyed that time of your college. So now you want that the time should remain same. But this usually does not happen. That's a better truth. That when you are going to do a job, it will not be, initially at least, it will not be as entertaining as your college life, where you had friends, where you had everything. So you were just enjoying that life. And now there's a shift. See, whenever the changes comes in life, it becomes a bit difficult to manage things. It becomes difficult to actually, it becomes a bit difficult to settle down in that environment. But the main thing is, where I want to first tell it to the freshers, that usually what happens when you come to the job initially, you should first spend time learning. Rather than doing a job, you should first be learning. That's the main thing. You should first know what things are like, because when you will be switching to other organizations, they would be seeing where you have worked. Because see, what does experience mean? It's not like I worked in so and so company for 2 months, so I should be hired because that company was good. Why would they hire? They may hire because they would see that so and so company hired you, so they would have seen something. That would be one of the criteria that they may hire, based on which. So based on that. So but the main thing is, they would be hiring based on learning. People say कि उस company में अगर आपका selection हो जाएगा, तो बाद की life भी बहुत easy हो जाएगी, and people will be hiring you. The main thing is, because उस company में maybe इतनी ज़्यादा learning हो जाती है कि the another company thinks that this is a learned man, and or this is a learned person, so we can hire this person, and the person can actually help the organization to grow as well, because it's not about individual thing. And as ma'am said right now, that usually what happens is, this happens with almost everyone. The fresher goes somewhere to work, and sometimes you find friends easily, and sometimes, or I would say mostly, what happens is, you have some spat with someone in the organization, and that's the time that you decide that I'll be leaving the organization. This is really a very bad thing to do, because spats would be there. What you think is that I'll be leaving this organization today, going to some other organization, and I'll be enjoying that in that organization. Is it compulsory that you'll not have spats in that organization? You may have spat in the other organization as well. So how many organizations would you shift again and again? And the primary thing I would like to tell people is that, do not focus only on salary. Salary is one of the most important factor that you see while doing a job, but it should not be the only factor. you should look upon various other factors as well, like what is the brand that you are working in, what is the learning. The most important thing rather than salary, I would say, is the learning. Because if you are learning, the salary will follow you. You'll get the salary what you are actually thinking of, or even more than that, if you have learned a lot. Because in an organization, when you go, the main thing is learning. Initial 5 years, people say that if in the initial 5 years, if you are learning in an organization, then the remaining 35 or 40 years of your career are sorted. So it depends on the first 5 years. And you may think in the first 5 years that I'm not growing, but actually this is not the case. When you see a tree, in the initial 1 or 2 years, you'll be seeing that you'll not find anything. The only seed is there that is also beneath the ground, and you'll not be finding that big tree. But after 10 years, 15 years, when you see that there's a huge tree. So this happens with the career as well. Initially, if you're spending 3, 4, 5 years learning the things of the organization, of learning, or actually how to react to the environment, how to react to the problems, if you are able to learn that, then it becomes very easier to go ahead in life.
All right. So I hope you're able to understand through these examples of organization that Sir just quoted. So I would like to, shed light on one thing here, like Sir mentioned about learning. Learning never goes in vain. Please keep in mind, learning never goes in vain, right? So it's basically something which Sir laid emphasis on. It's very it's kind of an eternal process, right? Which does not have pause. That's why, when you're in college, when you're amongst, your faculty members, they keep telling you never stop learning. Like you've been told by your parents also. At times, your parents tell you that, why are you wasting your holidays? Why are you not learning anything new? Why are you not inculcating any kind of creative activities in your regime? So, why are these things told to you as a child, as a student? These things are told to you as a student or as a child because in order to shape you, in order to shape your personality so that you have that kind of alluring aura when you step out for a job, right? When you go out for a job, when you are seeking a excuse me, when you are seeking a sustainable career or when you're seeking sustainability in a career, it's very important to work on different aspects of yourself, right? You just cannot focus on one thing and say that you are fit for the job. About yourself, right? In order to survive for a prolonged period of time at an organization, isn't it? So, one such crucial aspect here, which Sir talked about, is learning. Learning never goes, obsolete. Learning is something which is always, going to help you, even when you are somebody who's already working at a good profile. Now, you must have seen in organizations, people who have a very good profile, even they don't stop learning, right? In order to grow in the same organization, they, let's say, for example, they pursue another course, maybe. I'll give you an example. The two faculties today, like we are interacting with you, both of you felt the need to learn. Like I told you, learning is eternal, right? There is no pause to it. So we thought, why not study even more? Right? So we thought to enroll for double masters at University of Texas, right? So this is how, one should focus on, one should be, keen, one should have a zeal to learn. So that way, when you're somebody who's working in all the, is trying to attain knowledge, would have lesser chances of, to get out of that job, right? So those people who are continuously growing, all I mean to say is, if you are somebody who's continuously growing in their area, in their field, your chances of being, fired, or your chances of being out of that job would be less as compared to others, right? I think everyone present here seeks to, or focuses on growing in their career, right? So if you're somebody who has the zeal to grow, everyone, everyone backed by motivation, right? Everybody, every individual who's backed by motivation definitely wants to grow in their field. Nobody wants to stay at the same position. No executive, कोई भी ऐसा, like for example बैंक में there's an executive or a banking personnel, वो dream करते होंगे to be the branch manager, right? So everyone dreams to attain a certain position, right, in the same organization where they're working. So for that, you need to make sure, in order to stay at a job for a prolonged period of time, for a longer period of time, you need to work on your skill set. You need to work, you need to learn new things, something which is creative, something which upgrades your skill set, something which, opens up your wings so that you can fly even more high, so that you can soar to success, isn't it? So these are the things which you have to keep in mind. Now, if I talked about upgrading skill set in today's time, you know how difficult it is to, um, you know, kind of, how difficult it is to find jobs. The reality is that so many people are, having degrees, having the right kind of qualification, but still you see so many people, just roaming here and there in order to find good jobs for themselves. So we know how difficult it is to bag a decent package and to, get a decent job in today's time. It's very difficult, and people have, uh, you know, um, even after having all the required qualifications, it becomes difficult. So one must make sure that, considering today's time, which is not the same as earlier times used to be, right? You must have, I mean, I'm not giving you an option here that you should try to, no, but you must have uh, the required skill set of the, profile that you're aspiring to, to work in future, right? You have to improve, your focus at work. You have to work on your skill set as well in order to grow in the organization, in order to have a good future, a bright future, sustainability in career. You must make sure that, when you're working in any organization, you must eliminate all the kind of distractions that come your way, isn't it? Because see, when you work at an organization, there may, you will have to be very productive, to be honest with you, because unless you're productive, I mean, you won't be able to pursue your dreams. You won't be able to, give your 100% or best in the task that you are doing. So if you wish to give your 100%, if you are growth oriented, you definitely wish to give your 100% to the task that you're doing, right? So in order to be more productive, I recommend you here to eliminate all the distractions that come your way, right? So when you're able to eliminate or curb all the distractions that are coming your way, you will definitely be more productive, and you will have a better chance of, staying focused as well. And you will have a better chance of not just staying focused, but also you would be able to grow better in that same organization. Your chances, your sustainability of, in career would definitely enhance this way. So everything is interrelated here. Are you getting my point? So things are interrelated here. When you're more productive, that means you're you're able to eliminate distractions. When you're able to eliminate and curb distractions, your chances, you have a better chance of staying focused, right? You will not be hampered by any kind of interruptions that are happening, or any kind of, anything bad that is going on in your surroundings, right? So this will help you, gain more focus. This will help you minimize any kind of distractions, and ultimately you would be able to sustain, and you would be able to survive better in that organization. The sole goal here is to survive. Experience is something which is pivotal for you people. Now, in order to, in order to sustain or survive, it's very important that, you first gain good experience. In order to gain quality experience, you must focus on these points that we are actually emphasizing on, right? Because they are interrelated with each other. And you also have to focus on prioritizing your tasks. So when you are working in an organization, you must know what your task is. Whatever work that has been given to you, you must make sure that you are able to complete that work. You have to match with the deadline. So once the deadline has gone and you are not able to do that, this is not something which is good for the organization, right? So you all I have to say here, you don't have to be a procrastinator. If you become a procrastinator, then definitely you would not be able to survive. Agar aap, if you keep kind of delaying your work, if you have been given a project, if you have been given a project work to do by your superior, by your senior, you must make sure not to procrastinate that work, right? Because you will ultimately, if you keep procrastinating your work, you will lose on your brownie points. And this is something which will not create a good image of yours in the organization, right? So if in case you want to have a good image, you wish to create your own essence in the organization, you must complete your tasks by the deadline, prioritize your task. If you're able to do so, that will be very effective of you. People will be overwhelmed by you. And definitely, when somebody is overwhelmed by your work, you get the brownie points there. Are you getting my point? So when you get the brownie points, definitely you survive better in the organization, right? And of course, you have to train your mind. So as freshers, freshers are not able to train their mind because, like I said, you are freshers, right? So as a fresher, you are not kind of aware of certain things, how things go about in the organization, isn't it? So you have to, for that, the best way is to kind of attend such, I would say, webinars, or attend such talks, which are based on career guidance or sustainability, so that, you know how things go about in organizations. These things can actually instruct your brain to become more disciplined, right? Because as freshers, you are raw. Right. And when you are raw, that means your mind is not trained. Your mind should be trained when you're about to enter an organization. You should know how things go about in the organization. So the best way here, like you today attending this, workshop or webinar. So these things, you are getting an idea here. Your brain is actually being trained in some way here to be more focused, to be more disciplined, to pay more attention, to be right. So these activities, if you involve in these cognitive activities, in context to organization and the working of organization, definitely you would be able to survive uh, for a prolonged period of time in the organization. And it's not just about surviving, rather it's about surviving uh, better, I would say, right? So these are certain things you can pay attention to, right? um,
So to go ahead, I would like to say that ma'am right now focused on how you should be prolonging your career, prolonging your duration at a workplace, and along with that, you should be learning things because it's not only about prolonging your time at an organization. You should also keep on learning, because if your learning stops at a point, then I guess that's a point that you'll not even like your job, and you'll end up, you know, exiting from the from that organization. You will definitely choose to go out of the organization. So learning should always be there, because that's a thing that will help you in your growth, because everyone wants to grow. One of the other factor that I would like to tell you is that you should go to the organization, or you should choose the industry where you have the interest. I would like to give you an example. Recently, we both went to a college for the guest lecture, and the thing that came into light there was that few people opted for analytics as their specialization. Earlier, they were not interested, but after having their internship, few people told them that it's the jobs that come under this thing are usually highly paid. So that was the only reason they opted for analytics. So this should not only be the criteria. What people do is they just see the salary packages that people are getting, and they do not focus on their interests. So before choosing an industry or before choosing the organization, you should be well thorough that what actually you want to attain in your life, what you want to attain in your this career, where you want to shape your career. So this is a thing that you should keep in mind first, because salary will follow. If you are doing good in any field, you will get the salary. People working as faculties in the colleges get their salaries. They are really highly paid. People working in IT sectors are highly paid. People working as sales executive are highly paid. People working in marketing are highly paid. People working in finance are highly paid. People in analytics are highly paid. So it depends on the interest. If you have interest in analytics and you are opting for sales, you'll not be getting that salary. Initially, you may get a good package, but later you'll always have problem and you'll not have job satisfaction. I've seen people talking about job satisfaction. That would come only if you are going to a field where you are interested. If you are going to a field where you are not interested, you may go initially for the salary, but later you will feel that you have chosen a wrong field and you should opt out from this company, or you should go to some other company. And there also you will be having problem, because you would always obviously be working in some different sector, and switching from one sector to another becomes a bit difficult, at least in today's time, because the population is really too much in India, in a country like India, and there are a lot of people who have the experience in the same field and they may have an edge. Though I'm not saying that you will not be able to switch. Obviously, people switch and they get the jobs in the other sectors as well. But the main thing is interest. If you know initially, you can work accordingly. Like during your masters or during your bachelor's, if you have an idea that where you want to go, what's your interest, where you should go, so you can focus on the things that are best suited for the that industry or that company. You can work in that line, and when you have a goal, it is very easier to focus on things and then just go ahead with that. Suppose if I feel that I should go to this like teaching line, then it will become very easier for me if I know it from before. Then I can focus on things which are related to teaching. I can focus on those things. But if I'm confused, I may go to teaching. I may go to academic services. May go to academics. I may go to IT field. I may go to market research. I may go to sales. Then it becomes very difficult to focus, because what are the traits that I should focus on? It becomes very difficult to understand, because I'm open to everything. So rather than this, and initially, if I see during the first phase of COVID, there were few companies which opted out from China and went to different countries. Initially, people were thinking that the population of India is really very good, so company might come here because they'll get the people to work here, and they have a bigger segment of market that they can capture. But this thing did not happen. Only few companies came to India, and the rest went to Vietnam and other places. The main reason was if you see the newspapers, mainly what people focused was the skill set. And if it was asked from those companies that why didn't they come to India, they said the skill set is lacking here. Now we would assume that every person in India today is doing BTech, BCom, BBA, MBA, something like this. Then why is the skill set lacking? We are having degrees, so who can say that we are not skilled? Why people will say we are not skilled? We are skilled enough, we have the degrees. So that piece of paper which you call degree is effective only if you have a good learning, if you know how to implement those things that you have studied. So that would only happen if you have interest in that. So I would say study the subjects that you have interested in. If you see the new education policy, NEP, then you would be realizing the government is also focusing on these skills. They are wanting that you should be studying the subjects that you are interested in, and you should make your career in those subjects. So this is one of the things. Your interest is one of the main thing while making a sustainable career, because if you go to a company where your interest does not lie, you'll always be dissatisfied. You'll not like to work there because of certain things. You may continue working there, but you'll not give your 100%, and you'll not learn gradually. And if you are not able to learn somewhere, it becomes very difficult to you know grow your career, because growth is what everyone wants. money is what everyone wants, fame is what everyone wants, and that would only come if you are there in a position of, or if you are there in a job where you are finding your interests. So this is one of the things I would like to tell everyone, that follow your interests first. People usually would have seen people saying, if if you are liking something, then just go to that field. If you are not liking, do not opt for that field. So that is actually truth. People usually say that these lines are not practical enough, but I would say these are practical enough. To give you an example, recently I was right now telling you about a guest lecture where me and I met, and there was a girl from the senior batch, and she was very much interested in analytics just because of the salary packages. So she took analytics, she studied analytics, she went to a firm of analytics. And then what happened was, after 2 months, she was again complaining to college that I'm not able to fit here. So please find another organization for me where I can work. So this was only a best example of um, what happens if you are not going to an organization where you are not interested. So you should follow your interest. If you are interested, you'll find that work very good. You'll love to work there. And if you are happy at your workplace, then for sure you'll be able to learn, you'll be able to have better contacts with people, you'll be having good networking, you'll be working effectively, you'll be seeing your growth very quickly, you'll be earning a lot of money. And whenever you switch, it would be very easier for the company also to hire a person who is very much learned, and who actually knows what the interest is, and that person is working in the same domain. So it becomes good for the company as well as you, because if these things, if you follow, then you will also be growing, and the company eventually will be growing from you. So this is what actually companies want, this is what actually the individuals want, this is what the bosses want. So this is one of the things that you should focus on. So learning and the interest are two most important factors that you should focus
All right. So, interest and learning, like it's told to you, are very, very crucial factors. Similarly, you have to also keep in mind, I hope I'm audible. All right. It's very important to also, focus on your goal. Like I was telling you earlier, to stay focused, but focusing where? Focusing on what? You have to focus on your goals. Um, so you have to basically understand that, what kind of motivates you. And when you know what motivates you, it will be very good for you to actually, those motivators will actually work most effectively for your personality, right? So at workplace also, you should understand, all the things that motivate you. And when you are able to figure out what motivates you, actually that would help you drive, that would actually help you, stay more focused. Like for example, like incentives at workplace, or some kind of achievement can act as a motivator, right? So if you have a decent job and you're getting incentives for the work that you do, right? So obviously, this is a reward for yourself, for reaching certain milestones, right? So at the end of the day, at the end of the day, you may treat yourself a nice dinner, and these incentives can actually boost your confidence, act as motivators, or act as catalysts because you've attained or reached a certain milestone. So this can actually motivate you in a job, and this can help you, survive for a longer time at a job. All right. So definitely motivation, acts as a driving force at a job. If you figure out how you are motivated and by what you're motivated, that would actually help you to sustain for a prolonged period of time. All right. Similarly, achievements as well. Like, for example, if you're working at a job and you are awarded as the best employee, right? So, this achievement could be another form of motivation, right? And if you're given, like, for example, if you're awarded as the best employee of the year 2022, so this achievement will definitely, as act as an achievement based motivation. And of course, your possibility of achieving something as a result of your work will definitely help you, to survive for a longer period of time at your job, right? But again, one thing, and of course, promotions as well. If you're promoted, right? If you were, let's say, if you were the business development executive and you've been promoted as a manager, right, in the hierarchy, in the chain, the scalar chain of hierarchy that follows in the organization. So definitely this promotion can help you, to survive in the long run. If you're getting promoted, of course, you will like it. You will be motivated, isn't it? So again, achievement is one such, factor which helps you, which is kind of, which enhances the possibility of you staying in that organization for a longer period of time and having good sustainability, enhanced sustainability. Now, if somebody, like, for example, if XYZ is a person and that person, got demoted due to some reason, if that person was not able to, if that person was not able to fulfill the target that the organization had given that person, so that person was demoted from the profile that he was currently working as. So that demotion, do you think that demotion will act as a motivator? No, of course not. Demotion will not act as a motivator here. Demotion rather would increase the chances of you leaving the organization. So here again, sustainability is not enhanced, rather sustainability will go down, right? So the person may leave the organization if for example XYZ is, not able to fulfill the target, and there are high targets set in jobs. For example, it's a marketing or a sales firm which has high targets set, and you're not able to match with the deadline, you're not able to accomplish the target or the goal that has been given to you. So you will be fired from the job, right? So that acts as a, that the kind of, demotion that has happened here, because of which, you would not be able to work in your current, your area, right? So it's very important to first understand what motivates you. When you understand and when you comprehend your drivers that affect your personality in a good way. So these motivators are actually the drivers, and when you're able to understand these drivers that, are most effective for your personality and that are most effective catalyst for your personality, then I think you work better as individuals and organizations. You can stay more focused on your goals. You can, work better because there is a reward that is actually, there's a reward that is actually associated with this driver, right? So this helps you yourself in reaching a certain milestone. So reaching a certain milestone is, directly associated with, surviving in that organization for a longer time, right? Because ultimately you are growing in the organization, and people like to work, people like to be at the organizations where, where they grow, right? So if there's an employee who is religiously working, fulfilling all the goals, right, accomplishing all the targets, but unfortunately that employee is not being given the incentive and not being praised for work, do you think that employee, would be satisfied? No, because that employee is religiously working towards organizational goals, accomplishing targets, but is yet not being appreciated. So appreciation is again a driving force, acts as a motivator. Unless you are appreciated, you would not like to work further. You would say that, okay, fine, I'm giving my best, giving my 100%, and still no one appreciates me, no one praises me. So what is the use? Let me look up for some other organization where I can work, where I can switch, where I can be appreciated for my work, right? So this is generally the time, this is when, you feel the need to switch your job because you feel that you are not appreciated for the hard work that you're doing. right? So that is why people usually decide to switch. Like, for example, there was a student of mine, right, who left his job after 4 months, right? The reason being was that, he was really working, he was in the profile of sales, he was working as a sales manager, and he had to switch his job. Now he's working in a different organization, but the reason behind was he was never appreciated, right? He did so much of work, was working day and night to achieve the this thing target, the sales target that he was given, but he was never appreciated, never rewarded. No incentives that were earlier initially promised to him were actually given to him on time. So this is why he had to leave his job and switch to another job. But switching to another job was difficult for him. The reason being because he had no prior experience. The experience that he had was only the experience of 4 months, right, that he gained during his the job of sales. So there was no other experience which he had. So he had a lot of difficulty. So he had to wait for 1 entire year to get a new job altogether. Right. So that's the reason why we are here to tell you the importance of experience also. Because the topic here of discussion today is, sustainability in career, which prepares you to be future ready. Right. So if you have a lesser work experience, your chances in today's time, which is very competitive, become very difficult to get to get a job, because there are so many people because who out of experience can get that job. Are you getting my point? So, work for at least 2 years. Work for at least a year or two. A year or two if you have initially, so that you can, switch at a better place, at a decent firm. You can negotiate over the package also. So you don't need to work at a lesser salary, so that, you can actually negotiate a package that you are planning to, you want for yourself, you deserve for yourself, right? So if you have that kind of experience, I mean, you would not be rejected at a go, right? So if you have a year or two experience, your chances are higher as compared to a person who has mere experience of a few months. So understand the crucial point here, which is job experience also, right? And of course, if I'm talking about sustainability in career, you must understand, you must comprehend what motivates you first. Of course, you have to be goal oriented. People who are goal oriented, definitely in any field, be it management, be it medical profession, law, legal profession, or, even sports or any such field or stream, you should know what your goals are. If you are skeptical over your goals, I'm sure you would have a difficult time in deciding as to what to pursue in future. Right? There are those skeptical and confused people who are, not even aware as to what they want to do. Right? So they keep asking everybody. They ask their fellow colleagues. They ask their seniors. What to do? What should I do? Which career should I pursue? Should I go for fashion design? Should I go for an MBA? Should I, go for a media and PR organization, right? So this confusion, being somebody who, gets skeptical all the time, is not going to help you at this significant time wherein jobs, are so, it's very difficult to bag a decent job, right? So you have to frame a strategy, right? You have to frame a strategy for what? For actually your goals, right? As to, what's your goal? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses, right? What goals could be achievable for you? Your realistic goals. Yeah, the goals, you have to keep in mind one thing: the goals that you are, you are focusing on. Make sure you have it in mind that those goals should be realistic goals, right? So when you know your goals, that through which you can actually create a plan for achieving them, right? Now if you know, like for example, if somebody is a student of, let's say is pursuing bachelor's, BCom or BBA or BA, whatever. So if you're planning to do an MBA post this, right? So you have to frame and strategize your goals from the very now, right? You have to plan your schedule If it's for an MBA, you have to plan your schedule for CAT exam or GRE or GMAT, so that when the time arrives, the goal is clear to you that you have to appear for so and so exam to pursue an MBA from a good college, right? So this is how your goals, and focusing on your goals from a very, from at an earlier stage can actually help you, can actually ensure that you reach your goals. So goals have to be planned, strategized, and have to be assessed earlier, decided earlier, so as to ensure that you reach your goals within a specified time frame, right? So I hope you're getting this thing. And of course, you have to set milestones for your goals, right? And of course, follow these goals. So unless you don't have a goal, how can you follow? So firstly, you need to specify, you need to assess, right? Once you've assessed, only then can you follow a certain plan. Like everybody, like people who are business oriented, they have a plan, a blueprint with them, which actually guides them through their journey. Similarly, as students, one should actually create and follow a plan which can help them in future, to accomplish a larger goal. So the larger goal should be your target. And in order to accomplish this larger goals, you need to first identify the smaller tasks, the smaller goals. And step by step, when you follow, when you start accomplishing, only then can you ensure to follow a bigger goal for yourself, right? So if you are somebody who frames, who schedules their time, who goes by setting up goals, right? Who has a planner, right? So who visualizes things, I'm sure it's very easy. It will be easier for you to, manage things very nicely in organizations also, so that you can survive, grow, and thrive, and, flourish in organizations, right? So people who are well planned, all I mean to say here is who are well planned, who know how to schedule their time, who know how to strategize, right? Who know how to, kind of make the to-do list. Are you getting my point? So if you're somebody who knows how to make the to-do list, how to maintain your focus, how to work on the larger goals, how to visualize these things, how to practice the most significant thing here, which is time management, which is a very valuable skill. I'm sure you would be able to flourish in the organization, you would be able to grow in the organization, rise in the organization, and of course, would be able to, the sustainability here would again enhance if you would be able to stay in the organization for a prolonged period of time. So these things will ensure that you have, these will again help you maintain your focus on the goals and of course promote productivity. Are you getting my point?
So to conclude, I would like to say that even when you are at a position where you are leading a team, be a leader and don't become a boss. You should just make sure that your team is comfortable enough, and then only they'll be able to do good, and their growth will obviously help you grow as well. So not only when you are working under someone, when you are leading someone, become a leader. So this is all from my side. So any questions, ma'am, if you would like to conclude?
Yeah, if anyone has any questions, please you feel free to ask.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and sir, for this very nice session. If anyone has a question, you can ask.
I guess there are no questions, so thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. I would just say that stay goal oriented, be more focused, avoid distractions, and practice mindfulness.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Thank
of course, be future ready.
Thank you so much, all the participants, for your active participation. Let me inform to all that this complete session will be available on our Research Circle YouTube channel. So if you want to watch it again or want to share it to somebody, please do visit the Business Rozgar YouTube channel. Thanks, and last but not the least, thank you, Miss Malika Tiwari ma'am and Mr. Alok Upadhyay sir, for
Okay,
taking out.
thank you so much, Nalli ma'am and Research Circle
Thank you
team
very much,
for
Nadine.
providing this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.